So I will check that out later. Okay, no worry. So after recording, right? So what are the functions will be generated? We can discuss. Parallelly, I will open application also. For example, now we are doing for the launching. So if we are one started a recording, yeah. So we are launching means what we are doing, we are clicking. So if you are clicking means you can go to the here and you can observe which function it is generated.
URL.
Web URL function means, so launch you are doing for the launch assembly, you are clicking for the some button, so that is why it is generated as a web URL function. And after that what you are doing, you are submitting some data to the application, means you are submitting like username, password, you are submitting. So you are submitting this means you are clicking for the login button, means you are submitting, that is why it is a which function it will generated, means you can observe here web submit data, means because you are see, you can observe here Jojo bin, you are submitted data, so that is why it is a which function it will generated, web submit data it is generated. And after that what we are doing, we are clicking for the flight, then which function it will be generated,
Web URL.
web URL. Jayshree, right? Next, Jayshree, are you there?
Yeah, Kiran.
Yeah, thank you. So next, so after that we are clicking flight, and after that we are submitting to the some data to the application, then which function it is generated, Jayshree? We are submitting some data to the application, like you are entering for the London and Los Angeles, means departure city, arrival city, you are entering data, so means you are submitting some data to the application, then which function it will generated, Jayshree?
Yeah.
Web submit data. See, just think about that. You are submitting some data. Submitting means you are giving for the, like selecting some data, and you are giving for the date, and you are entering for the number of passengers. Means this data you are submitting to the application. So that is why which function it will generated, web submit data it will be generated. And after that what we are doing, we are selecting for the flight. You are after that click on continue. So here we are selecting, so you are selecting also, you are submitting to the flight, right? So because some flight, some 541, 542, the flight you are submitting to the application, so that is why you are selecting also which function it will generated,
Web submit data.
web submit data. So means after that next we are click on continue, again payment details also we are submitting some data to the application. We need to do for the successful payment, means you are asking for the some details, first name, last name, street address, and city, passenger details, and credit card, and expire date. So this all data we are submitting to the application. So which function it will generated, Chandra there?
Same web, yeah, same web submit data.
Web submit data. And after that final step, payment also is done, right? Next you can observe, come to the next final, we are continue, and final what we are doing, sign up. You are clicking sign up, means what we are doing, we are clicking means which function it will generated,
Web URL.
web URL function. So everyone is clear, right? Means you are submitting to the some data to the application, then it will generated for the web submit data. If you are clicking anything in for the application, it is generated as a web URL function. So that is clear, everyone?
Yes.
So after
So
that,
Kiran,
you can observe. Yeah. Yes,
so
Chandra.
Kiran, like you are like if we submit the data, we will get web submit data.
Yes, you
So
are
if
clicking
we,
some button or anything, right? As you are clicking as happen, that is generated as a web URL function. Because
okay,
you
so
can you
yes.
can observe here, when you are setting for the recording options, in that we have the recording, in that HTML advanced, we are setting for the script contain explicitly URL only, web URL and web submit data only. We want to generate point of view, these two only. So that is why we are selecting this option. So in this option, we have two functions will be there. One is web URL and web submit data. Web URL, when it is generated, means if you are clicking for the some button or something, you are clicking, means it is generated as a web URL. You are submitting to the application, then it is generated as a web submit data. So it's clear?
So Kiran, yeah, clear. Kiran, if we like if we are having any drop down list, suppose for
See,
drop
drop down
down list
also, you can
also,
observe we have drop downs only, right? This is the drop downs only. You can observe London and Los Angeles. So we have the different departure cities will be there. London, Paris, so Franken, and we have different will be there. So that is also you are submitting to the application.
yeah,
So that
Kiran,
is
I
why
got
it
it.
is generated as a web submit data only. Got it, Chandra?
Yes, Kiran, I got it.
Yeah. So now application, what are the functions will be generated? Everything is clear, right? So now we need to check for the LR start transaction, LR end transaction. So anyone can know for that which purpose we can use for the LR start and end transaction?
To calculate the particular transaction
Yes.
response time.
To the particular transaction response time we are giving for the LR start transaction and transaction. See, for example, you can observe I'm not given for the launch URL here. I'm not given this code. How much time happen? I don't know. So now we can observe. Just I will replay this script. See, it's a runtime viewer also we are able to see. It's a launching application, and after that login and payment details logout. See, your script will be passed. Now you can see for the replay here. You can observe transactions. So what are the transactions you are given? All transaction is displayed here. Login, click on flight, find flight, and payment details logout. But we are forget to give in for the launch URL. But it is calculated. It is not calculated. So it is included from the action. Entire action means in the action, how many transactions you have, everything it is calculated. It is some 2 seconds and 573 milliseconds happen. So means it is including for the all transactions, including for the launch and login, click on flight, entire what are there, it is calculated. But we want for the particular each and every transaction response time is we need to give for the start and end transaction also you need to give. If you miss for the right when you are recording, if you miss right, you can come to here and you can check for, you can select this and click on right button. Click on right button and there surround with the transactions will be there. You can click on surround with transaction and give for the transaction name launch URL and click on OK. Now you can observe. So transaction start transaction came and end transaction also it is there. You can observe.
Yeah.
So means sometimes if you miss you need to give for the manual also. We can give like this. That is the surrounding transactions. Otherwise, if you want for the each one will be one time means you can select for the here and click on start transaction and there you can give for the name. What is the transaction name? You can give end transaction. You can click on the end and you need to give for this. So now we have everyone will be good, right? Which purpose it is for the start and end transaction. So Jayshree, which purpose we can use start and end transaction?
Uh,
Jayshree?
yeah, I'm feeling nervous actually.
Yeah. So to measure for the particular, for example, I want to measure for the this response time. So this response time, how can I measure? Means using for the LR start transaction and LR end transaction. Means what will happen in this between? What is the code will be there? How much response time we are getting? It is calculated. So LR start transaction, end transaction, which purpose we can use means we can measure for the particular transaction response time point of view, we can use for the LR start transaction, end transaction. We are submitting the data, then which function it will generate it?
Web submit.
Web submit data. You are clicking to the application, then which function it will generate it?
Web URL.
Web URL. So everyone is clear, right? That so in script, if you recorded right, so only this function only it will be generated. And apart from this, we need to observe for the like load runner architecture.
Kiran, if we perform any transaction also, like we will be like this load runner will generate only two functions, web URL and web submit data.
Web submit data. Yes.
Only
I have
these two
seen,
functions it will.
So that functions only when you are selecting for the HTML advanced, based on that only it is generating. Okay.
Okay.
If you have the some other method also will be there. Your HTML will be there, below URL will be there. So at that time the function will be changed.
Okay.
Got it right? So this is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
load runner architecture. So load runner architecture, we have the components. How many components we know? We use a virtual user generator, controller, analyzer,
analyzer, agent process,
load
and
generator, and agent
agent
process. So this everyone will be know, right? This is the 5 components for the our load runner. So vision we are doing for the script. After that execution we are doing for the controller. So controller to load generator connection, how it is happening means through agent process. Means for example, you are doing for the username password, you are clicking login button, then what will happen? Through agent process, it will communicate from the LG. Slow means it is a connection will be happen for the LG. The request LG will be sent to the, we have the servers will be there. We have web server, application server and database server. Then what will happen? This login request it will send to the web server. Then web server, this login request will be sent to the application server. And application server it will send to the DB server. And DB server it will search the data. Okay, username, some Jojo bin it will be there, not there, it will check. It will be there, then response will be sent to the database server. Okay, the username is there, then go to the next page. This is a response, it will send to the database server. So you are sending the request and the response will send in database server. Okay, go to the next page, and application server also same, go to the next page, and web server also respond will send to the LG, and LG will be final will send to the system. That is why what will happen? Next page will be, it is going. Click on flight page is going. So we are sending the request and you are getting for the response. This round trip of request and response, we can call it as a response time. So we are getting right here. You can observe in transaction, we are measuring particular this launch. So how it is calculating means based on this only. Means you are doing for the clicking for the launch, then immediately the request is going to the LG. The LG, the request will be sent to the web server to application server to DB server. In the DB server, it will searching for that. The URL will be there, not there. It will be, we want to go to the next page or not. If it is there, not there also, you will get response. See, sometimes if we are giving for the username password will wrong. So you will get for the message response you are getting for the username password will be incorrect message. So we are sending the request and we are getting for the response. This round trip of request and response, we can call it as a response time. If anyone asks for the what is the response time is, so what is the response time? Round trip of request and response, we can call it as a response time. Means response time including for the request is going